Content creators have the one thing that every video game needs: viewers. And in order for the company to keep the content creator on their game, they need to offer them that one thing they will definitely not deny. That one thing every content creator strives for, whether they tell you it or not: money. And when everything is looking good, the content creator is doing extremely well, they are putting more eyes onto the game, the company would want to make them feel at home, like they have finally found the game for them. The worst thing that could happen is they quit your game and move on to your competitor, right? So the company would do anything they can to keep the content creator on their game. Sponsorships, gifted subs, care packages, special treatment.
Oh, it's the toy guy again that keeps pre-firing me. Bro, again he pre-fired me when I peeked that fucking... I do not fucking trust this kid.
Almost had that holy 120.
DC. Hal said he's cheating, but he said he shot him like around the corner, but Hal was scammed. Did he just get banned? No way, this kid just got banned.
Wait, did he?
Yo, banned?
Did Toy get live banned?
Is he cheating?
Okay.
Whatever it takes for you, the content creator, to keep creating content on their game. But when everything goes south, the content creator's brand is not looking good anymore, they are receiving hate from the general public. Once you are in a bad and vulnerable position, and you are no longer valuable to them, they will replace you. The gifted subs stop coming in, they stop inviting you to compete in tournaments, they stop giving you the special treatment that made you want to keep playing their game in the first place. This is exactly what Daltouche experienced with EA. Daltouche was given all the opportunities to become one of the biggest content creators on Apex.
Thank you so much, Fallout. I'm a little nervous, I can't lie, but I'm super excited for this EMEA bracket we have here today. We have a lot of good players, and I'm excited to see what they can do in match.
And he even had direct support from EA and Respawn themselves. But once he was no longer in a good position, once he started getting cancelled, EA changed their plan. Instead of supporting him, this time they took a different approach. He could no longer compete in tournaments EA was directly or indirectly involved in. He was no longer being supported by EA. And this all happened due to what he called a joke.
Fucking hat tan line, bro. That is the sturdiest Ferguson I've ever seen. Look at that, bro. That man is 2 races at once. You guys see that? Up top, he thinking like 401k. Right here, he thinking like nay.
Is a winner on the PGA Tour for the
That looks so bad.
Simple. It's a 3v1. You got...
What seemed like a dumb joke to some people was offensive to others. This caused Daltouche to receive backlash from a lot of people, including big names in the gaming industry. Later on, Daltouche apologized and released a public statement acknowledging that what he did was wrong. And as time went by, this incident seemed to calm down. Most people accepted Daltouche's apology and wanted to move on, but for some odd reason, EA did not take that same approach. Some people were still mad about this incident, and EA wanted to play the safe side, the side where they thought they would be the good guy, the company that does not tolerate misbehavior. And on October 6th of 2021, Daltouche randomly announced that he would not be competing in the Twitch Rivals. This caused confusion because the public was informed about this one day before Twitch Rivals, causing many rumors to be made to try and give a reason on why Daltouche was removed from the event. Maybe he got categorized as a professional player, and last second he was kicked out of his Twitch Rivals team so that his team would not have 2 or more pros on the same team. That sounds reasonable, right? Well, according to the esports manager at Twitch, you would need to have made it to the finals in the LGS Challenger circuit to be considered a pro, something Daltouche did not accomplish. So the question was, why was he not allowed to compete in Twitch Rivals? What happened? And this question seemed to have been answered a couple weeks later. On October 22nd, Daltouche once again was not competing in a large tournament that everyone expected him to compete in, the MFAM Gauntlet, and this time we partially knew why he couldn't compete.
Cat Daddy, Deluche is not an option. I don't know how to tell you that other than just telling you that. I don't know what happened. I don't know who he pissed off or what's been done. But Deluche is literally not an option for anything. Not to play, not to cast, not to nothing. And I do not get involved in other people's business.
Nick Merck stated that it was not his decision to remove Daltouche from the tournament, and that Daltouche might have pissed someone off, but the question was, who could he have pissed off that had the power to remove him from a tournament hosted by someone he was friends with? According to the public, Daltouche was a likable guy, and the reason why he was so known in the community was because of his personality. There were not many people that hated him, but apparently someone or multiple people were holding a grudge against him. Before the incident that caused him to get cancelled, he took part in many official and community hosted tournaments without any problems. But after getting cancelled, things started to change for him, and the only reasonable answer was that EA did not want to associate with him. But at that time, there was not any proof to back that statement, but that seemed to change on November 1st of 2021. This time, we had clear proof that EA was in fact the reason why some content creators were blacklisted from EA-funded tournaments. TrainwreckTV announced that EA told Nick Merckx he can't play in the MFAM Gauntlet because of his gambling streams. And this correlates with Daltouche's situation because it shows that EA did not want to associate with certain non-family friendly streamers. But this was quite odd because EA did not want to associate with a gambling streamer, even though they themselves were at one point receiving backlash for implementing a gambling feature into one of their games, FIFA Ultimate Teams. It allowed players to purchase packs so that they could gain access to cards, which they could then put onto their ultimate team, which they used to verse other people's ultimate teams. But the business model behind it was it gave players a chance to get really good cards, which were valuable. You could grind the game for a long time in order to get packs for free, or you could spend a lot of your real money on packs in order to gain a good FIFA Ultimate Team, basically making it pay to win. And just like the heirloom on Apex Legends, the odds were that you would have to open a lot of packs before you could get a good card. And at that point, EA would have made a decent amount of money from you. But the former sports chief at EA, Peter Moore, denied that FIFA Ultimate Team was similar to gambling, regardless of what the community thought. Peter Moore claimed that FIFA Ultimate packs were surprising, and they were far away from gambling, comparing it to things like cigarette card collecting back in the 20s and 30s. So while the public seen FIFA Ultimate packs as gambling, EA themselves did not believe that. And looking back at TrainwreckTV, he was not allowed to compete in the MFAM Gauntlet because he streamed gambling content, something EA did not want to associate with. And for Daltouche, the joke he made was apparently too offensive. Therefore, they did not want to associate with him as well. Daltouche and TrainwreckTV are two examples of how EA used content creators to their benefit. EA built a relationship with them and used them when they were at their peaks. But when they got a little too controversial, when they weren't advertiser friendly, EA got rid of them very fast. Before getting blacklisted, Trainwreck was lured onto the game. According to Trainwreck, at one point, EA offered him a lot of money to livestream Apex. And in the background, this is happening to many content creators. It's common knowledge that companies pay content creators to create sponsored content. But in reality, it gets a bit deeper than that. EA is known for doing sketchy things like focusing on money rather than fixing serious issues with their game. But something that isn't talked about much is how they use content creators to their benefit. Programs such as EA Game Changers, now known as EA Creator Network, is being marketed as a program which allows content creators to be involved in the development process, enabling collaborative feedback. And to an extent, the program does that. Every time your favorite content creator uploads early access of a new EA game or a new season of Apex Legends, odds were they were a part of the EA Creator Network. On multiple occasions, EA showed that they use content creators within their EA Game Changers program to their benefit, basically bribing them with sponsorship deals and free content, but in return, EA to an extent owns that content creator for a certain amount of time, pretty much telling them, here's money, but in return, we get to use your name, your platform, and you better not talk bad about our game.
You know, just a little. No, okay, just a little. You know, a little something.
All right. Oh,
little tricks.
The wingsuit's so cool, man.
We're chilling. I'm getting in. Let's go.
All right. Where do I go? Where do I go? I'm gonna go E. I'm gonna go E.
All right. Oh, come on.
But it's up to the content creator on whether or not they want to take the money. EA doesn't force you, but let's be real. If you were offered a couple $1,000s depending on the size of your brand to sit back and play a video game, would you do it? Odds are many of you guys will take the money, and that's not a bad thing. The real issue is what EA does with you once you sign their contract. Maybe they would use you as advertisement. Or maybe they would use your brand to do something a bit more unethical. Usually, whenever you see a video that is sponsored by EA or EA Creator Network, it's a video about a new EA game or a new season of an EA game. And EA uses the content creators as advertisement. Basically, the content creator points out everything good about an EA game, trying to get their community interested in whatever the video game is about. And maybe, just maybe, they would provide some feedback and call out things that are bad about the game. Usually, the reviews that they put out are not honest reviews. You wouldn't want to bite the hand that feeds you, right? So the content creator would sugarcoat everything bad about the game to stay on EA's good side so that they could stay on payroll. But what if the reviewer makes an honest review? What would happen? A YouTuber named G-Man Lives that was a part of the EA Game Changers program claimed that EA paid him to make a review on a video game called Anthem. So he went ahead and made an honest review about the game. He surprisingly talked about the game's horrible performance, extremely long loading times, and that the game had a lot of bugs. In a paid review, G-Man Lives called Anthem one of the most disappointing games of 2019.
After having played the full version of the game, I can still say confidently that this might be the most disappointing game I've played in 2019. And at times it feels either rushed, poorly thought out, or just in some cases unfinished.
And due to it being an EA endorsed review, EA made the decision to take the video down. This caused G-Man Lives to claim that EA was blacklisting him.
What's up, it's your returning champion Shillman Lives, and if you're feeling a bit of deja vu right now, well, that's perfectly normal. Because what I've had to do is re-edit my original review for Anthem because it was deemed too negative. And I guess on top of that, I've now been added to the long list of blacklisted YouTubers.
But in reality, it wasn't that simple. EA denied that the takedown was due to the negative review that G-Man Lives put out, but instead, it was in response to the video not meeting its disclosure guidelines. In the video that G-Man Lives put out, he used the wrong watermark. Because EA paid him to make the review, he was supposed to use the sponsored by EA watermark, not the EA Game Changers watermark. A reasonable mistake to make since he was a part of the EA Game Changers program. And according to the EA disclosure website, the Game Changers program is proclaimed as unmoderated and unrestricted, while the sponsorships are not. Meaning, there were certain precautions G-Man Lives had to make in order to post the video. And due to G-Man Lives using the wrong watermark, EA had a justifiable reason to take his video down. So later on, G-Man Lives reposted the same video, but this time without any EA branding. And that video is still up today, which is odd because according to EA, they strictly enforce the sponsored content, and that includes the watermarks. But G-Man Lives video, which was paid for by EA and is an honest review, is still up to date without any EA branding. And due to the review being an honest review that speaks about many bad things about Anthem, the only reasonable answer on why EA did not remove the second video is because they did not want to be associated with the video through the watermark. And this incident shows the potential on how EA could use their game changers to their benefit. If they wanted to, they could have removed G-Man Lives' second video, and due to him not following the guidelines, EA had the right to remove his video. But for some odd reason, they chose not to do anything, even though they paid for that review. Had it been a positive review, I would bet that EA would have insisted that G-Man Lives should repost that video once again, and he should put an EA watermark. But since the review was calling out the game for being bad, and since removing his post the first time sparked a lot of drama, EA was better off not doing anything. And this isn't the only incident where EA was caught doing unethical things. At one point, EA allegedly bribed the official Star Wars Battlefront Reddit mods to remove posts that were negative. And during the release of Battlefield 4, there was a hidden program for content creators where EA was paying them to create reviews about their games, but in return, they were not allowed to call out the flaws of the game. And this all comes back to you, the content creator. EA could offer you the money to make a biased review or to show their game, but it's up to you on whether or not you're going to take the money. EA has been doing things like this for a long time, and honestly, I don't see them stopping anytime soon. Bribing people to do something you want cannot be solved. Like and sub, I'm out.